Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast, the Project Investigation Collaboration, the collaboratory podcast between the Veritas Project and Investigator Todd. And as always, we are here with our gracious host, founder of the Veritas Project, Robert Curtis.
Hello.
And myself, Investigator Todd Boyer. And welcome back to the podcast, where we're talking about the investigation we did last night at the Curtis house. And we just talked about it all, and I don't think we had the camera on the whole time. We didn't turn the camera on.
Because we didn't get home until 2 in the morning. So.
Yeah, it was kind of late, kind of a late night. We were discussing the fact that we took out the spirit box.
Yeah.
Which, for you guys that don't know what the spirit box is, it clips through every radio station on the dial. Yeah. And you can do it forward, you can do it backwards, and it goes through. But the difference is when Bob sets it up, he sets it up through a guitar amp / speaker, which adds reverb, and then he sets up through a sound gate, which cuts out the ticks as it flips through the stations. So we had some good voices, and it started the night by using Bob's voice.
Yeah, at one point I was about to say hello, and the spirit box said hello, like in the second before I said hello. So it was kind of like hello, like with my voice that came out of the spirit box.
Right. And then later in the night, it took over my voice.
Yeah.
And then we had a female voice for a while.
Right.
Who said she was in charge of the house.
She was number one.
She was number one. And the cool thing about the way we had it set up is we also had some lavalier mics, which is a dual microphone setup. Which you plug into the bottom of the phone. Bob has a mic. I had a mic. I could go out anywhere in the house and still be heard through the live. So people were watching us through the live. So the crazy thing is I was asking questions from another part of the house, and Bob was getting answers on the spirit box.
Yeah, in another room.
In another room.
So I couldn't hear what Todd was saying, but I could hear the response coming out of the speaker. And then the people in the live could hear both, like it was in real time.
Right. So, and then we ran split screen because I finally have camera privileges on my live. So we ran some split screen last night and let everybody watch. And you want to talk about the laser grid? What happened with the laser grid?
Yeah. So like we typically set the laser grid up on one wall, and then the laser itself on the other wall. So it kind of paints the whole room with lasers, and then when you sit in the middle, you can't see the lasers. All you can see is what reflects off of the lasers. And in that house, for some reason, we get like this, almost like a shimmer of dust.
Sparkles,
that kind of shows up in the middle. And you can see dust kind of come through from time to time, and it's just like a little dot that goes through. With this, what I'm talking about, it's like reflective. And
it's like a mirror ball, kind of.
Yeah, it's like a mass that's it shows up in the middle, and you can see it move. And in the other video, you could see that it's almost like a football-shaped kind of sphere of these sparkly, I don't even know what it is, like some kind of reflective thing that the spirit has trapped up into like an orb or a sphere or something, and it shows up on the laser grid. Well, last night, we had 3 different things happen, where at one time, the grid was obstructed on the wall where you could see a shadow kind of move in and out. And then the laser grid distorted from the wall in like a bubble.
Right.
And then the focus of the camera started going in and out. It couldn't track on what it was seeing. And then later in the evening, it looked like the laser grid was reflected on a pool of water. Like the whole wall was like waving, like shimmering from it. And I have no idea.
Well, like my hypothesis on that is that something was standing close to the laser. Maybe the lasers were shining through whatever was standing there. Maybe it was standing there looking at the spirit box. Yeah. Because we had the spirit box, the laser literally next to it, shining onto the wall. So maybe it was looking at the spirit box and trying to communicate. And we did it. So Bob uses Scott's phone that he borrows. It's kind of like Scott's extra phone, for our communications with everybody, basically.
Right.
It's our it's our HR phone, or
Right.
it's our,
That's the number you can call and
yeah. So
leave messages.
So he borrowed Scott's phone, and we use that. So he's got his phone, and he's got his other phone.
Right.
I've only got the one, and I tried to get a second one last night or yesterday, but everybody wants to sell me a phone plan. Nobody wants to just sell me a phone.
Right.
So I had to run, when I wanted to run camera, I had to just, turn off my stuff. So I went and got my pendulum, and I went and got my dowsing rods. And I'm not a fan of my dowsing rods. Yeah, my internet's freezy for some reason on my phone. Yours is looking fine, I hope.
There's a good connection.
Yeah, do you guys have good connection?
No,
I'm freezing up a
Now it
little
says
bit.
bad connection.
So, oh well. I'm not worried about mine freezing up. So I got.
Our Wi-Fi's dropped out.
I was using the dowsing rods, and I have the dowsing rods. I had a pendulum for when I go investigations if people want to try them or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of them. I'm not good with them. That's the bottom line. I probably need to practice more with them. Right?
Right.
But using the dowsing rods, I got the impression that there was a female kind of in charge, and that's when we started getting the female voice
Right.
over the box.
Yeah.
So, and she straight up said she was in charge. Said she's number one.
Yeah, she's number one, it says.
And the guy said he's number two. So, and then as far as the ovilus, we didn't get a lot going on in the ovilus all night. I had it turned way up at the beginning because it was super quiet, but it got to that point again, 12:30 or 11:30, 12 o'clock, where the energy picked up, and the energy felt really different this time. It felt very, 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 very calm in there.
Yeah.
So we definitely have to give it a break for a while.
I think that the solar storms we've been having had the opposite effect of what I imagined.
Yeah, we were hoping for it would charge it.
Yeah, and I think that the solar storm discharged it. And I know that's our theory about how shadow people will hide in theaters and places that don't have windows and stuff, so they can build their energy up. So it makes sense that the solar radiation that's blasting through now, it took all their power away. So you never know.
We're this is all experimental science. We don't know how it works. We're trying to figure it out.
Right. Yeah, 100%. Looks like the connection on the live is cutting in and out.
Yep, you got back on the Wi-Fi, so I just went with data. So it is what it is.
We should have 5Gs here.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's.
I don't know why the Wi-Fi got all goofy, but we did split screen for a while, and everybody kind of enjoyed that. But at the very end of the night, I finally got a conversation on the ovilus, which made sense.
Yeah.
Because it was just random garbage. And I finally said, okay, stop.
Right.
You guys, and it literally stopped. It it paused for 30 seconds, and nobody said anything.
Right.
And then this girl came forward, and I got the impression that, because it said Sally and Mary, right before the conversation started, so that's what gave me the impression of a female, that she took some pills and regretted it and tried to drink milk to get it out of her system, but she was in the kitchen, and because I got pills and milk and sink, and and then it was talking about tools and hammer, which could have been a situation where you were doing a cremation and you removed the lid. I don't know if you use a hammer to remove the lid at all. No,
it's got screws in it.
So I mean, maybe screwdriver's not in the
yeah. Tool, whatever.
Yeah. So in the library of words, maybe. Yeah. So, but then it sounded like she was talking about Bob and Bob being nice, taking care of her or whatever after the fact, and Bob says he does talk to everyone.
Yeah.
I
always talk. 'Cause I believe in the Jewish tradition or the even the Muslim tradition where the soul accompanies the body until they're placed, in their final resting place. So I always, assume that they're hanging out, so I kind of talk to them while I'm taking care of them,
So yeah, for the live, we apologize that we had to recap all that, but like I said, I don't think we turned on the camera.
Yeah, we forgot. I forgot to push the button.
Oh, that's what happens when you go out and you do your investigations at until we didn't get home till like 2.
Yeah.
So
it
was interesting. I got the feeling that I needed to go up into the attic again. I went into the attic. As I got towards the attic door, I got the chills, but then the most exciting thing up in the attic was the bright orange.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
In the bag. There was some kind of red shirt or something in a garbage bag.
Trash bag, and you could see.
And the black light shined through the black trash bag and made that, whatever was in the bag, glow like bright red.
Flame, I don't know what it was.
It was cool.
Crazy. Yeah.
It was neat looking.
I have to find out what that is. Maybe I can make something out of it.
Right, for sure.
Black light.
We did get something on I can't remember what it was, but we were talking about the buckets again, and it said something about the buckets again.
Yeah, I forgot about that. We were talking about
the coin buckets.
The coin, yeah. It said something about the tray that has the change in it.
Oh yeah. It was talking. It did talk about the coins in the other room, because when I went in the bedroom with the ovilus, it said dresser, so that's why I went in the bedroom.
Right.
But then it started talking about coins and flowers and stuff, and you guys on the live heard that and pushed it over to Bob through the comments, and then Bob came in, and there's a thing of coins next to a bunch of stuff with flowers on it in the kitchen.
In the kitchen, right.
So, and it's literally about 30-40 wheat pennies.
Yeah, a bunch of wheat pennies.
In this little change dish.
Right.
So, but we did get some interesting stuff, but not anything crazy.
That was cool.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't super eventful, but the funny thing is, the more we sit here and talk about it, the more little things happened.
Yeah.
Like no big thing happened.
Little things that are connected.
Little things that were connected.
Yeah.
Like the fact that I was asking questions from the other room with the lavalier mics.
Right.
Because you guys can both, you could hear me at the same time you could hear Bob, because it was all playing through Bob's phone.
Right.
And I was asking questions in the living room and the kitchen, and it was answering Bob in that bedroom.
Right, in the spirit box.
The spirit box. So
yeah, crazy.
And you were saying that the activity in the living room picked up as far as the motion.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
after
that's
that
kind of why I went back.
Investigation we had, it was doing its thing where it would set off the person is detected in the middle of the night again. So
that's kind of why we went back. Even we don't like to investigate like that much in a row, because they do use up a lot of the energy that's there. But we thought, well, hey, maybe it kicked off again. You know? And I think you're right. I think it charged with all the lightning storms we've had lately.
Right.
But then the solar flare and it took a lot of that magnetic.
Yeah, took all of their energy away.
All their energy out. So, and we didn't get to see anything.
No.
I didn't get to see anything. I have friends who saw a lot of cool stuff, but I didn't get to see anything.
Yeah, it was kind of weak.
Bust for us. So
yeah, the security camera on the front of Grandpa's house saw the aurora a little bit.
Did it really?
Yeah, the night before.
Oh, that's kind of neat. So you got some of it, some of your own pictures, but I appreciate you guys liking the live, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Keep pushing us out there. What else? I mean, it's hard to tell what we covered when we didn't have the camera on, and what we, we're basically doing the podcast twice this week.
Yeah. I think we were going to talk about the spirit box, right, and how it works.
Right. Yeah, go ahead.
So, what they discovered back in the 70s, when televisions first started to become popular in everyone's homes, is that they would be watching the TV, and then the station would just go blank, and there would be playing white noise, and then people would be in the other room and hear voices come over the television. So they extrapolate that a couple generations down. They figured that they thought it was the white noise that was making it, but it was actually the tuner of the television was helping the spirits communicate. So then they noticed that the same thing happens with radios. You would get like a little drift in and out of a spirit talking over certain stations. So then people started to have a debate about which station was the best one for, spirit communications. And then this guy named Frank, I can't think of what his last name was. I feel bad. He's deceased now, but he came up with the idea that you could basically wire the seek of a radio to just seek all the time, hoping that would help you find the station that they can talk through, and then that way you'd be able to listen to it and you'd go, okay, so we know it's blah 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 station. But what he discovered was that the spirits would talk over a bunch of stations when it was seeking. So if you seek forward, you seek backwards, you seek AM, you seek FM, it doesn't really matter. But in our region here, because there's a big city, there's so many on the FM that the AM works better here. But in some other locations where there's not a big city that's broadcasting, so much, here if you try to seek on the FM, you'll get radio stations that are just blasting all the time. So sometimes you'll get a little blurb that could be mistaken as evidence when it's not. So we use AM, and then we seek backwards through the station, so it goes from the big end to the little end. But anyway, Frank's idea, what he discovered was that this you could communicate in real time with it, and then he called it the spirit phone, and then it eventually became Frank's box.
Right.
And then that's what everyone started to call it, was Frank's box. Can you make me a Frank's box? And in my collection somewhere, I have one of Frank's actual spirit boxes that he made back in the early 2000s, before he passed away. And then now, Gary Galka is the guy who makes the SB versions, this SB7, SB1, SB2, all the way SB like 14 or something. They are. Yeah,
and they actually have apps for that too, because your phone, does have an antenna in it, and you can pick up those. They just close them off, right? Unless you have an app that lets you listen to the radio. Right. So that it opens that app up and slides through them. Yeah. So you can actually get an app to use on your phone. So that's another
that does the spirit box.
Does the spirit box. So something for your own kid again.
Yeah, so Gary decided that he liked the idea of Frank's box, and then he wanted to make a radio that was not consumer radio, that was modified. Right. He wanted to make a spirit communication radio. And that's why it's not hardwired to just seek all the time. It's actually designed to seek all the time. So that was the first departure from the Frank's box, was in the SB ghost boxes. So that's where that comes from. And then Gary started working with, now he's into EVPs. So he's coming up with a device that you can communicate with EVPs in real time. So it listens and records at the same time, and then it transcribes what it hears into text. So you could read it, and it'll tell you. It's pretty neat. I don't know if he's selling them yet, but I follow him on the YouTube, and he does little shorts all the time about his development process. But the millimeter is his too, so he that's all his stuff. So
another piece of kit that you brought out for the first time last night was your pod.
Yeah, the REM pod.
Yeah. So why don't you tell everybody what's all on that thing?
The REM pod it's like an everything sensor. It detects temperature, it detects movement, it detects electromagnetic fields, it does everything. But like we noticed last night, it's annoying because you can't move it.
So loud.
So you have to warn everybody, or shut your camera off and then move it to where you want to use it, and then get away from it, because it'll detect you too. So it's loud, and it does a really good job. It has LED lights on it, and it lights up whenever it makes its noise. But originally it was like a door chime, and then they rewired it to be all of the sensors, so it's not just infrared, it's not just temperature, but it's also EMF too. And now the new ones are just like they're a product that was designed
Right.
for being a REM pod. But the first generation of them, like that one, it's a door chime that was hacked. And it's got a whole bunch of sensors stuffed into it. And it's
I
unbelievable.
like the blue lights. I mean,
Yeah.
I like the blue.
It's incredibly sensitive, though.
Yeah, and obnoxious.
Yeah.
Obnoxiously loud. Super, super loud. So,
Originally, there were 3 of them. And that's the only brother that survived.
Oh, over the years.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you saw how finicky it was to get the battery.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that thing was exciting.
Yeah,
for
because
sure.
it's a double A. It's a double A battery setup, and then now with all the sensors stuffed into it, it's a 9-volt.
Yeah, that
setup.
you gotta
So,
get it
so you
in
gotta-
just right.
Exactly perfect to get it to line up, and then slam the door shut on it to get it to stay. Otherwise, it'll blow its battery out. But yeah, it's a what they used to call hackware back in the day. Where
Yeah.
it's just stuff that's cobbled together for a purpose. Whereas now all that stuff is all you tell the Chinese company what you want, and then they just make it for you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, the good
Right.
old days of ghost investigation where you had to hack stuff together.
Right. So yeah. So let's see. So let's go over what basically happened. So we had Bob's voice
Yeah.
come over the box. My voice come over the box.
Yep.
We had me asking questions from the other room and answering with Bob.
Right.
We had a female kind of step herself forward when I was using the dowsing rods, who then started coming over the voice box in the other
Right.
room with Bob.
Yeah.
Like she set herself apart.
I think once she figured out how to use the ovilus, like she was sending responses to the ovilus, then she came into the bedroom and started using the spirit box. Because I think that's what was the
Well, I was using the dowsing rods when I figured out that she was in
Yeah.
charge. So, but yeah, once she did that and she found out that she could talk on the box.
Right.
Because I think what happened is she tried to answer me and the dowsing rods and pushed it to you.
Right.
And then she was all about you.
Right.
Like I stopped getting really movement, but we started picking up the voices.
yeah.
So I think that's what happened with that. So that was kind of an interesting
Hey,
situation.
this works. I can do this.
And I only got the chills once last night, and that was right before I went up into the attic.
Yeah.
And that was kind of uneventful up there. Let's see. And then we had the one good conversation. And then you had all the laser grid
Yeah. The laser. The
weirdery. So we had a lot of little things go on
Yeah.
that didn't really stick out in our mind until we talk about it this morning. And that's
Yeah.
kind of why you do an after action.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times, if we do an investigation, we don't go so late. We go to like midnight or whatever.
Yeah.
If we're doing somebody's personal house. Then we'll stand there and talk about it for a half hour to do exactly what we're doing here. It's like,
Right.
okay, what exactly did we see? What did happen? Because you don't remember the stuff until you start talking about it sometimes.
Right. Right.
So, and that's kind of why you want to do these after action reports
Yeah.
and talk about it amongst the crew. So,
And the battery in the laser grid went down twice.
yeah.
last
But
time.
those suck a lot of juice too.
Yeah, they do. But
And luckily
it
I
has
have
a
two
great
batteries.
big battery in it, though.
Yeah, the battery in it's like this size here. Like it's not quite this battery, but it is this battery. It's a 3.7 volt battery, and you have to have a special charger, obviously, for those. But
Right.
but those batteries or those lasers go like a mile.
Yeah.
Like no joke. I will.
Without the diffuser on it.
Yeah, without the diffuser, I can sit in my apartment and hit a building a half mile away. I like to do that. I point at the building just to show people how good it works. Like, we got a building with it, bloop, and they're like,
Shine
holy
it on the
crap.
arch from here.
But yeah, you can get trouble with those lasers too.
Right.
You shine them up in the sky and hit an airplane, yeah, you get in a lot of trouble for that. So, so yeah, that covers pretty much what happened. I mean, we got a lot of not definitive communication. We got the female saying she was in charge, the guy saying he was second in charge, but then he tried to say he was an alpha.
Right.
So, but as far as like I said, nothing really jumped out at us kind of thing, but a lot of little stuff for sure. Oh, the laser thing. So, So yeah, I mean, it definitely didn't feel like 3 hours.
No.
It went by really quickly.
Yeah.
Really, really quickly. And even people on the live were saying that it didn't feel like 3 hours.
No, it was like boom, boom, boom.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Then it was time to go.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, it's 1:45. It's time to wrap up. So.
Yeah. The Polish American war veterans.
Oh, the noise pollution
had
was so bad.
Party last night. It was incredibly loud, and it's like a mile away, and you could hear it inside the house, like the neighbors were playing the stereo too loud. That's how bad it was.
The noise pollution was really, really bad. So we didn't get a lot going on because of the noise pollution too.
Yeah.
So we did get a thing that said hide there for a bit when I was walking into the into the entryway there, the den or whatever you want to call it. It said hide, and I'm like, you're hiding? You want me to hide? What's the, you know?
It said, what did it say, run or something like that?
Yeah. So I don't know if something was trying to hide from us, which happens a lot. But I mean, I did get that when I was standing in the hallway messing with the camera. I did get that little bit of a shadow at the end of the hallway.
Yeah.
Because I asked them, like, did you guys just see a shadow right here? You know, so, you know, like I said, a lot of little things, but nothing that jumped out at us.
Yeah,
like, you
not
know,
at the moment.
And that's probably what made it so quick, it was like one little thing after another.
Yeah.
That's what made it go by so fast, I think. So, but, you know, where do we go from here? I mean, we talked about pretty much everything that went on. You know, we appreciate you guys sharing out the live and everything and joining us every week. It
a lot of people.
Really helps us. And we did have a lot of new people pop in last night and follow us. And,
and they were interacting. It was kind of nice.
It was kind of nice. We had some new people. So, unfortunately, they came in like near the end.
Yeah.
So, we're not those all-night ghost hunters.
No,
you know, not yet.
We got jobs.
Not yet.
Right.
One day, we're going to be those guys that can just go out and do investigations every night and make their money.
One day when we're YouTube rich, then we can just go out all night and do investigations.
Yeah, one of us has to win the lottery here, Bob. That's what it boils down to. Or if anybody has a rich uncle that wants to invest in some, you know, ghost hunters, you know, we get it there. So, thank you guys for joining us on the live last night. We really appreciate you guys showing up for that.
Yeah.
We have a good time interacting with you guys every time.
Yeah, it's a good time.
You know, unfortunately, there's probably not a lot for Bob to add tomorrow for editing-wise. I mean, you know, maybe some stuff about the SB, the spirit box or whatever, or you could show your setup or whatever. But have I ever hit it?
Yeah.
Yay! I've always said if I ever win the lottery, we'll have a headquarters, because then even if it loses money, it's a tax write-off, right?
There you go. Right.
So, but of course, Bob will be live tomorrow doing the editing, putting this thing together. You know, as I try to stretch this out into a good half hour.
How much time?
We've probably gone about 25 minutes or so since the flip over. But you know, thanks for following us here on TikTok, and I appreciate you guys sharing it out to everyone when we do go live. You know, thanks for watching on the YouTube, and you know, if you ever need to get a hold of Bob, it's all his social medias are R.S. Curtis and the Real Veritas Project.
Yeah, that's the
email is the Real Veritas Project, which the emails you can see at the end of the video. There is a slide that has both of our emails on it.
Yep.
And don't forget to watch for the Easter eggs at the end of the video that Bob adds. For those people who watch it all the way to the end, Bob always throws an Easter egg in there.
Yeah, I put a little Easter egg at the end. It's funny, I'd done like 10 of them before someone noticed.
So
they always jump off.
But and then anything that I have is Investigator Todd. And, you know, once again, please go ahead and subscribe, comment on YouTube. If you watch us on YouTube, throw us a comment. Even if it's just to say hi, it adds to our comments, and it helps with the algorithm. Yeah. You know, just say hi, guys, or whatever.
Or if you want to give suggestions or notes,
definitely, for sure.
Like we said something, you know, and you found whatever, different opinion,
Yeah,
go ahead and
absolutely.
put that in the comments. I read all of the comments, so
We are not the gospel.
yeah,
We are just trying to get you guys interested.
right.
So that way you guys go out and do your own research. Like Bob and I always say, we'll dip our toe in. We want you guys to jump into the pool and go out and get your own
Right.
information. We're just bringing light to the subject. We want you guys to dig in and get that good eating, as Bob calls it.
Yeah, good. Yeah, exactly.
So thanks again, everybody, for watching and joining us on the podcast. And remember,
Stay curious.
and find the truth, and we will catch you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
See ya.